Report reveals loss in jobs. Secretary says funding crucial for roads. And Gen Morgue facing storage issues.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the news. Constant funding is crucial to continue build and maintain roads in the country. According to Work Secretary David Were, funding has been constant over the 5 years. Secretary Were told MTV News the department is serious about completing the Connect PNG Plan road network and help provinces build a vibrant economy.
Speaking to MTV News, the Works Secretary says constant funding through consecutive governments is key to build and improve road networks in the country. Whereas says road construction is costly, but governments have remained committed. The Works Secretary says the department will maintain its target with the 5-year provincial road plans.
In growing the economy by building a number of key highways and major trunk roads and provincial network that connects 85% of the country's population. We are working on a 5-year program. We understand the issues with limitations in the resource envelopes, so working with priorities.
While the Connect PNG road plan is a priority, Secretary Were says provincial roads are crucially vital. A budget of 300 million kina will be implemented to support provincial trunk roads according to design and plan. Whereas says this is vital to maintain road networks.
The provincial roads are very key, key to reaching our people and providing access to health and education services and improved road accessibility. So we are very happy with the government's efforts to make sure there is continuity in funding. Continuity in funding is the answer to ensuring that there is sustainable long-term maintenance programs.
According to the Works Secretary, the department is taking a bold stand to ensure the country is connected by 2025. This is a mammoth task where donor funding, loans and government allocation are put to use. He reiterated that funding is key to the country's road plan.
Consistency in funding is key, and I'm happy to say that in line with the government making road transport infrastructure as the priority of government, the commitment in terms of leadership and funding has always been there. Over the last 4 or 5 years, consistently we've been receiving a lot of funds.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
8 new cases of coronavirus disease have been reported in the last 24 hours, increasing the country's total cases to 843. 2 cases were reported in NCD, while 6 cases were reported in West New Britain. The country's COVID-19 cases, as a result, now stand at 843, with 9 known deaths. A total of 40,697 people have tested for COVID-19. 800 people have recovered, while 16 samples are pending at the laboratories. 34 active cases are in isolation. 16 provinces, including the autonomous region of Bougainville, have reported cases. Are we giving the proper respect to our dead? Port Moresby General Hospital is certainly trying its best, but it seems it can't handle any more. A warning: this next story shows the inside of Port Moresby General Hospital's morgue.
When you die here in Port Moresby, and if relatives cannot afford the cost of a funeral home, you will surely end up here at the Port Moresby General Hospital's morgue. A body is received through the layout. From the layout, it will take about 24 hours or more for the morgue staff to look for a space to place the body. Yes, there is not enough space, forcing the staff to stack bodies on top of each other. According to Albert Tole, who is the officer in charge of the morgue, a chiller in the morgue can only accommodate 30 bodies. But because the number of bodies have increased, they are putting 60 or more in one chiller.
If there's no release, then we can't put anybody inside. We just leave it on the layout. They can take it down to funeral home, or they can take it out to the respective places to do their burial.
When all funeral arrangements are done and it's time for burial, the body is washed either in this room at the end of the morgue, which is also used for post-mortem, or just outside the corridor right at the entrance of the morgue. There are two spaces with a bed with this torn curtain only on one side, which is intended to give privacy. The other side, the relatives of the deceased had to tie a fabric to hide them from privy eyes while washing and dressing the body. Water is fetched from these dishes from the only sink at the far end of the morgue. This facility was built 30 years ago by the Japanese government.
This facility was built nearly 30 years ago by the Japanese corporation and the sponsorship, together with the main JICA wing of the Port Moresby General Hospital. As you can see, over the years, the condition of it has deteriorated. When this facility was built, it had a capacity for 90. Right now we have 200 plus bodies in there.
Dr. Sobi said once the morgue exceeds 200 and more bodies, the hospital is then forced to conduct mass burial for unclaimed bodies, an expensive exercise which the hospital covers.
It's costing the hospital lots of money to do mass burials because these bodies are not picked up for up to 6 months, even up to 12 months. This should not happen. And so we appeal to the community to show love, respect to your loved ones who have passed on. If they have been in the morgue and you know that they have been in the morgue, please come and give them that decent burial. That is my main appeal.
The morgue clearly needs a complete overhaul. The two 20-foot containers and a 40-foot container placed at the back of the morgue to cater for the increasing number of bodies is still not enough. With COVID-19 threats, even the autopsy service has been suspended since the 13th of August 2020, affecting police investigations for several cases.
So we really need that funding support and our partners. We work together. Maybe some kind of arrangement where we could even look at shifting the morgue function, mortuary function away from the hospital so that we can focus and concentrate on the well-being and health care for the community at large.
Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
More than 10 teachers at the newly established Kui Wampunga High School in Mount Hagen will be terminated for aiding students to cheat for the 2019 Grade 10 National Examinations. The Teachers Services Commission has already received the recommendation of termination from the Western Highlands Provincial Education Board. TSC Highlands Regional Advisor Basil Murian says it is the first of its kind in 35 years.
Reports from the investigation showed that teachers colluded and agreed by giving answers to their grade 10 students. The teachers later admitted that they only did that to help their students pass the national examination. Western Highlands Provincial Education Board Chairman Lawrence Penna issued a stern warning to teachers that they will not tolerate such practice and this will result in termination or pay increment reduction.
We would not like to be seen as a province that tolerates this, or promotes this, accepts this, and allows this to happen. We would like to say, no, we do not accept that. We are a province of standards, we are a province of quality, we are a province of where we want the right things to happen.
Recommendations were given to TSC for 9 teachers to be terminated, 3 others to have pay reduction, and another 3 who do not have teaching qualifications to be disengaged. TSC Regional Advisor Basil Murian said the teachers have 5 weeks to appeal before a decision is made.
Once themselves seated, then of course they will not be certificated, and that is the standing rule so far. But in this case, like the chairman is saying, it was aided by teachers. So I think the decision was the right decision that was taken by the Department of Education.
Mr. Pena said the board is focusing in providing quality education as well as building more schools. He warned teachers and head teachers not to receive briberies or practice corruption.
We are engaging teachers on their professionalism, on their conduct, on merit. And we put them in the teachers in the school so that they can perform. Because we trust them, we have faith in them, we have confidence in them, so they can perform in the classroom. They need to provide quality education. But when such situations happen like this, we have no option, but we have to take also the right measures, disciplinary measures to deal with those kind of situations.
Meanwhile, the 2019 grade 10 students of Kui Wamka High School have all repeated their grade 10s last year and have set for the national examination. Vasanata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Tomorrow marks 70 years since the eruption of Mount Lamington in Northern Province that killed 4,000 people. The eruption on the 21st of January 1951 destroyed everything within a 12-kilometer radius. It was the worst disaster since the end of World War II. What we have in terms of records are accounts from Australian servicemen and missionaries, academic research, and on the PNG side, stories passed on by word of mouth. Scott Wider reviews the events that changed the lives of thousands of people.
Popondetta town, today the 20th of January 2021, is a vastly different world from what it was 70 years ago. In January 1951, this was a hub of activity, a central transit point for victims of the Mount Lamington eruption on their way to care centres or to Angau Hospital in Lae. This was where the colonial administration coordinated relief efforts into the disaster zone. At least 3 days before the 21st, quakes rocked nearby villages. The survivors of the disaster said at least a week before the eruption, they saw animals dying and birds leaving the area. But they said many paid little attention to the warnings. Then on the 21st, the volcano erupted suddenly. The blast spread out over a 12-kilometer radius, killing everything.
And we saw there was a thick, dark smoke roll down the hill.
Lucien Koyembo was 8 years old when he saw the frightening scenes unfold. 7 members of his immediate family were killed, including his father.
All my Kira family, include with my 7 family members. My father, Lester Koyembo, and my elder brother, Jega, with his wife, Cinderella, and his little son, Malachi.
Mount Lamington is a disaster well documented, at least by the former colonial administration. It's been the subject of scientific and academic study over the last 70 years. But Anglican Bishop Lindsay Yove says many of those who died still remain unaccounted for. Their names unwritten and the memories of who they were are lost in time.
Popondota, Pija, Hamumuta, Sasarata.
For a disaster that killed 4,000 people, all we have are these plaques in the center of Popondetta town. It remembers 22 Australian workers and 8 locals, including a local police sergeant major. Scott Wider, National EMTV News, Popondetta.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more stories after these messages. Stay with us. Welcome back. One of the latest reports from the World Bank on the COVID-19 pandemic's impact on PNG's economy in 2020 reveals that Papua New Guinea's workforce experienced significant job losses. In light of COVID-19 vaccine distribution in the Pacific region, the report recommends that a phased approach to reopening would allow for safer economic recovery in the largely COVID-free region. World Bank senior economist Matthew Dornan speaks about the economic impact of the global pandemic on PNG and the way forward.
It's So in the report, we identified...
The World Bank conducted a survey on COVID-19 pandemic impact on PNG's workforce at the end of 2020 and found out that there were people who were employed prior to the pandemic reaching PNG and eventually lost their jobs as a result of lockdowns and restrictions put in place that affected businesses.
A survey the World Bank undertook last year, in late June, found that 25% of those surveyed who were working prior to the crisis were no longer working. It was the middle quintile of households that was most affected by those job losses, or in other words, households which are not poor, but are vulnerable to being pushed into poverty.
Digital connectivity was a challenge as a lot of workers were asked to work from home. Labour mobility to neighbouring countries like Australia and New Zealand was also an issue, given travel and other restrictions that were established between borders. World Bank senior economist Matthew Dornan provides advice based on analysis of the situation in PNG.
COVID-19 has not spread so widely in PNG and other Pacific Island countries relative to most parts of the world. As a health issue, it's less urgent. However, the global pandemic has had severe economic ramifications for the region. PNG hasn't suffered to the same degree as some of its neighbours, tourism-dependent economies like Fiji, for instance. But the global downturn resulting from COVID has reduced demand for export products from PNG and has also lowered commodity prices, with flow-on effects for the PNG economy.
Chief executives of food companies in the country have also expressed concern on COVID-19's impact on PNG's economy, saying the situation is still uncertain going into 2021 as the economic recovery process continues.
Approval of some of these big projects, brings foreign investment into the country, which creates jobs, which creates spending, which creates a business that all of us can access, and the whole country grows together. So I can create a little bit of economic growth, but not as much as these large capital investments that could come into the country.
But it's still uncertain times. So we're hoping for the best and planning for the worst. In terms of growth, I don't feel that we should expect this year to be worse. We should expect it to be better than last year. We need the mining sector to recover and some of the mines to restart.
Concerns have been raised in the World Bank report on how soon and how safe travel in the Pacific region can resume in the economic recovery process. Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
The PNG Tourism Promotion Authority is on a journey to improve tourism data collection in 2021. They recently signed an MOU with the National Statistical Office to develop a tourism satellite account, or TSA, for the country. The TSA is a framework of presentation that will give accurate economic data on how much the tourism industry contributes to our economy.
In efforts to improve tourism data collection, the PNG Tourism Promotion Authority and the National Statistical Office signed a memorandum of understanding to develop a tourism satellite account for the country. Tourism is becoming an important sector in PNG, with the number of visitor arrivals increased by 9% a year since 1993.
We often get a lot of questions from a lot of people on different forums asking about how much the tourism industry contributes to the economy. And many times we try our best to answer, but only a system such as the TSA, when it is fully established, then we will have the accurate economic data to present.
Although the Tourism Promotion Office was in existence, nothing tangible was done in relation to data collection due to lack of financial support and political backing. The effect of this has been a lack of marketing and promotion overseas, leading to a negative perception of PNG as a place to visit. In working together, both parties will identify and collect missing tourism data while NSO will compile TSA tourism satellite account reports on an annual basis.
We will provide those technical assistance. We are used to collecting data, compiling data. We are also used to producing data through surveys and censuses. And we also are the ones that ensure that the data collected follows the data quality assessment frameworks and also follows some requirements of how our data can become an official data for policy decisions.
NSO's Economic Statistics Division and PNG-TPA's Marketing and Research Division will be the executing divisions for the development of the tourism satellite account. Lilian Sopera-Kenea, National EMTV News.
Making his exit from the People's National Congress Party, Yanguru South MP Richard Maru says no funding has been allocated to major projects in his district. The former National Planning Minister says the Sipik Plain Agriculture Project and the Police Barracks Project remain stagnant with no funding. MP Maru says playing politics will not benefit his people while leaders quest for glory. Maru says his move to the middle bench is to seek government's commitment to complete major projects that will help rebuild the economy.
In the last 18 months, the government has not released any funding for that project. It is not a district project, it's a national government project. We can't keep playing politics with the life of our people. And I've asked the Prime Minister to please release funding so we can get that barracks completed. Right now, we have MS Quad number 6 from Hagen in our province and district. It costs a lot of money to put them up in hotels and hire cars. It doesn't make business sense. We need the mobile barracks finished. And I cannot sit in the opposition while we continue with the power play and quest for power at the expense of the people of Young South and ECPIC. I need to make important moves to create a political climate where funding can be provided to complete such important projects that I initiated in my time in government.
The funeral service for the former member for Wabeg Open and Pangu Party treasurer late Daniel Kapi was held today at the Sunrise Bethel Centre at Waigani. The event was attended by dignitaries from the government departments and ministries as well as close friends and families. Late Kapi was described as a beacon of hope and many say his legacy will remain.
At around 2 p.m. today, the casket of late Daniel Kapi arrived at the Bethel Centre, Waigani. Late Mr. Kapi passed away on January 13, 2021. The Masted Chapel Seed International took charge of the funeral service. Mr. Kapi's God-fearing nature, giant stature, brilliance, passion, and energy were the source of countless innovations that enriched and improved the lives of those who have crossed paths with him.
Daniel Kapi is very humble, intelligent, sound, clear mind. He believes in transparency and accountability. He lives, he's not married. He lives a bachelor life, honest, very, very honest. We will hardly find someone of late Daniel Kapi's caliber in this country.
From a statement released by the Pangu Party, Mr. Kapi's passing is a great loss not only to his church, family, Pangu Party, but to this nation. He committed his life to achieve economic development. He used his pulpit and podium to serve his local seat as member for Wabeg Open and Minister for Correctional Institutions Services under late Semekere Morauta. Late Mr. Kapi served the people of Papua New Guinea with high distinction, morals, and integrity until his passing.
He believes in Pangu Party. Through Pangu Party, he wants to make sure and ensure that this country must be a self-reliant, transparent and accountable government. He wants quality, good leadership, good mind, sound mind, governed by the wisdom of the good leadership.
Gertrude Gabi, National EMTV News.
More communities in Lae have come forward supporting the view that authorities must do something about the widespread abuse of alcohol. The Papuan compound community is one of those that came forward to say alcohol is the cause of many social issues. They are calling on the government for a quick intervention concerning the production, sale and consumption of alcohol.
Last week, MTV News spoke to members of 4 communities in Lae on alcohol abuse and its impact in the society.
But it's like beer time, I'm said, I'm just destroying life, blog at the youths. Man, I marry one them. We go legally want them.
Time also I drink, always I cause him heavy long or late, always I less law or talk fighty go come. Even inside law house, only come up with some only hero again. Inside law market to me, blah, sabon drink bag and bagra, plenty provided me, blah.
Today, women and men from the Papuan compound community supported a call by other communities in Lae saying it is time authorities, including the government, get serious about alcohol abuse. A former primary school teacher and resident of Papuan compound for over 30 years says they've tried discouraging the youth from consuming alcohol, but nothing has changed. Ignacia Bunan said they need government support.
Community. Liglig beginning of some 12-year-old or junior youth, 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15. Na beginning man on the merry old drink. Old drink na mibla talk, lona order way, but lona order, and by you make kissing way. Got money talk all right long, or salim or something, or salim lost the cheapest.
According to the residents, underage children are now consuming alcohol and parents can't do much due to peer influence from the settlement level.
Trade we know, one name Lemia. This life no good la drink. I'm cheapest na bagara all beginning lo ya. Me one plama plenty beginning. Now beginning boys blow me all involved as a drink. Me not like him.
One plama man sa drink la drink all that time. Now asking me lo money me talk no got I'm sa cross fight lo me go na brokis la news blow me. No this la bottle taso so me not like this something basta. Must stop him ogada na finish osem. No ke la ken.
Me sa market na me sa kayena sa man da me and die. Now wondering Sabia, I was planning or make you a club.
Government auction tax, you auction tax, but Trump will come down. You can government sub or no God. And people will get money out of the maybe worry out of the stop. Please. I'll be going up or stop him. So he can try and look long. Big companies so make him drink.
Before me grow up good, nice plus sit down blow me plan. Gaman need the money. Now I'm kissing the slaw line come. Na kisim desa something come na sit down blow me bla bagarab.
Over 5 communities in Lae with a population of over 7,000 have raised concerns over the effects of alcohol abuse, saying the government should intervene and review the laws governing the production, sale and consumption of alcohol beverages. Police have also confirmed that they receive complaints of alcohol-related offences daily. However, it is difficult responding to them due to lack of manpower and resources. Julie Badui, Owa, National MTV News, Lae.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 US, $0.3559 Australian dollars, $0.3859 New Zealand dollars, and 28.17 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading lower, coffee and copra closed lower, and cocoa closed higher. Palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, and copper closed unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed unchanged, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. And Trukai Sports is next to details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Good night and welcome to Trukai Sports. Lae's next Tigers prop Mark Pitti wants to build on the momentum of last season as he prepares to take on the challenge of the Intra Super Cup with the SPPNG Hunters. a mainstay with the Tigers, Pity is confident of cementing a spot in the starting lineup for the Hunters this season.
Lace next Tigers prop Mark Pity makes his return to the SP Hunter squad after featuring for the side in last year's cancelled season. Determined to put that disappointment behind him, Pity put in the hard yards for the Tigers, who were losing grand finalists in the 2020 Digital Cup final.
Unfortunately, we haven't continued the season because of the COVID-19 crisis has been there. So. But we head back to the Digital Cup and work so hard to come back again to the Hunters and see how it goes in this season.
The 26-year-old prop from Anobada village has been a consistent performer for the Tigers, leading to his recall back into the Hunters train-on squad, eventually making the final cut.
So thankful to the coaching staff and the trainers and the management to trust me and stuff, so I have to give my best every day. I have to improve myself every day, so yeah.
Pity has taken every opportunity at training to learn from the Hunters coaching staff, building on his confidence and situational awareness on the field come game time.
I adapt to the game speed and stuff, so you have to stay with the system. So thankful to the coaching staff and the trainers and the management to trust me and stuff, so I have to give my best every day. I have to improve myself every day, so yeah.
Huxley Lovai, Chukai Sports.
Staff of the National Capital District Commission and the Governor of NCD, Powers Pakop, will be traveling with the Port Moresby Vipers and the Motu Koita Lagatois to Mendi in the Southern Highlands Province. They will be attending the Hope Cup, which was initiated by NCD Governor Powers Pakop in partnership with his Southern Highlands Province counterpart, William Powie, in 2019. The two traveling teams will be playing against the Mendi Muruks and a select side from the Mendi League. The second edition of the Hope Cup will be hosted in Mendi Town this Friday, January 22nd to Monday, January 25th. The Cup is an initiative of the Governor of NCD, Powers Pakop, and Governor of Southern Highlands, William Powie, with a one-off rugby league match between the Port Moresby Vipers and the Mendi Muruks. The Motu Koita Lagatois, a PNG NRL bid team, will also travel with the Vipers.
It's an initiative between myself and my colleague Governor William Powie of Southern Islands, supported by the two franchise. And I'm very pleased too that we've got a backing of the PNG RFL. They've sanctioned this initiative. It's a one-off game. It's not a long tournament or a competition. It's just a one-off game. The Lakatois coming out from that wonderful competition here in our capital city. Last year they went out there also with the Vipers, and they played very well.
The whole concept is to promote peace through the sport of rugby league.
Peace is a virtue that is a prerequisite to prosperity and success in our personal life, in the community, and in our provinces, and in the entire nation of Papua New Guinea.
There is a huge travelling party which will be flying from Port Moresby to Hagen and then on to Mendi via road. Pakop says Mendi Town is looking forward to their arrival.
Last week they were expecting us to go, and they've started cleaning the town already. So everybody, there's a buzz in the air, everybody's excited. I'm excited to go. I'm looking forward to go. Now this year, NCDC management will come with us too, city manager and his team. So I'm very pleased with that too. Some other corporate people too will come with us.
He also mentioned that Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo will be traveling with them as well.
A member for Kairukuhiri wants to come and witness what we are doing out there. So he too can be a peace builder in his district, Kairukuhiri.
Pakop says there are big plans to have the Hope Cup elevated to a peace festival.
With this Cup of Hope, I would like to see some other platforms coming on, like Battle of the Bands. Imagine all the renowned musicians and bands from around the country, maybe overseas too, when the pandemic is over, coming to Mendi. There'll be a show. And we have not just a Hagen show, but we might have so many cultural groups beyond Southern Islands maybe Western Islands and Enga province too, and maybe even as far as Bougainville coming in to perform in that festival, Peace Festival, in the future.
And that story wraps up Trukai Sports, the weather forecast for the next 24 hours when we come back. Bye for now.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Mostly cloudy with few light rain showers tonight in Port Moresby. Mostly cloudy with late night rain showers in Daru. Mostly cloudy with a shower or two in Kerma. Mostly fine weather in Alotau and mostly fine though partly cloudy in Popondetta. In the Mamasa region, mostly fine weather in Leh. Mostly fine apart from possible morning shower or two in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy with a chance of some rain showers tonight and mostly fine weather tomorrow in Lorengau. Mostly fine though partly cloudy, apart from possible shower or two in Kavieng. Cloudy at times with a chance of a shower or two in Kokopo and Rabaul. Cloudy at times with a chance of a shower or two in Kimbe as well. And mostly fine though partly cloudy in Buka. And in the Highlands region, chance of some rain showers tonight, then morning fog in Mount Hagen. Mostly fine though partly cloudy, then morning fog in Goroka and Kundiawa. And cloudy with some rain showers tonight, then morning fog expected in Mendi and Wabag.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the way it is this Wednesday, the 20th of January 2021. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.